It's like in dating. Right now, Auburn feels like the nice guy that brings the girl chocolate and flowers and says, I want to take it slow, right? I don't want to go too fast. And then you figure out that she's really been hooking up with the guy who rides a Harley that just joined Hell's Angels that dropped out of high school. What is up, everybody? Hope you had an outstanding July 4th weekend. We appreciate you making Crain and Company a daily watch or listen. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're bringing the heat early in the week. We're barreling toward media days, toward college football season, but there's some controversy going on right now at Auburn, while Alabama fans are rejoicing in the recruiting department after getting more 5 stars than a review at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. Well, Auburn right now, Blaine, is what in recruiting? In the SEC?
79th nationally, and they're coming in at 16th in the SEC.
Oof. Well, as usual. Yeah. As usual, to my left, David Cohn, quarterback, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain, to my right. And guys, I want to tackle the Auburn and Alabama side of this.
Hit it.
But they are separate. But our audience needs to understand the situation if they're not aware of it, because there's been some comments by Hugh Freeze and the trolling from not only Lane Kiffin, but also Golf Digest sending strays at Auburn right now. So basically, before we play Hugh Freeze talking about this, Auburn has slipped in recruiting. They've had a bunch of decommitments of some of their top players. That's why the class is ranked where they're at. They're going to Georgia. They're going to Florida State. One kid even went to Kentucky. So Auburn fans, some are panicking, and I understand that. Some are very, very worried, and I want to do a little positive and negative side of both before we get to Alabama. So here's Hugh Freeze, who, rumors are, people are saying he's been playing too much golf. We're going to get to that as well. But here's what he had to say about where recruiting stands for Auburn right now before we dive into this. Let's play the clip.
It does seem kind of strange that we're like some of the lowest range of numbers. I mean, we're like, really, really low compared to some, and I'm trying to figure that out. But I do think it'll shake out in the long run. But it is complicated and hard to sit there and feel great about. But I feel great about our relationships, and I feel great about Auburn, and I know the families know that. And I do think just after we win games this fall, which I'm confident we will, I think it'll all kind of shake itself out.
August 1 is the first date that a prospective student-athlete can receive an offer on paper. Okay, that's a big day. It's not rumor, it's not innuendo, it's not this person says this, it's an offer on paper. We're a good distance away from August the 1st, and we're a really good distance away from December.
Kona, I'm going to start on the negative side of this. I'm the type person I always want the bad news first, then give me the good news if there is any. There's an old saying in politics that if you're explaining, you are losing. And right now it feels like Auburn is having to explain to the fans why recruiting is struggling so much going into year 3. So on the negative side of it, after hearing what Hugh Freeze said, how do we not know the reason why the offers are so low? If you would have just come out and said, guys, we front-loaded on these last 2 classes and in the transfer portal because we're going all in on year 3. We have to show progress on the field, and we know that the rest will take care of itself. Okay, I understand that. And that may be the case. Some have said that's the case. If you would have said, oh, well, these other schools are offering money that they don't have, and that's going to show its face on August 1st or in December or whatever, okay, I understand that. But to say, I don't really know why our offers are so low right now, that worries me, that you're swimming in a pool that you don't understand, and it makes it sound more like an excuse of why you're losing players and getting bullied by other teams, whether it's rivals, other teams in the conference, or even teams outside of it. That was the most worrisome part on the Auburn side to me, with what I heard from Hugh Freeze and the athletic director, John Cohen.
Yeah, well, a couple things from my perspective here. One, what we're talking about here doesn't seem to be a new problem. I mean, Alabama has consistently out-recruited Auburn since I've been following college football, and yet every couple of years, Auburn figures out a way to beat them on the field. I watched Gene Chizik beat them. I watched Gus Malzahn find a way to beat them. And now in an NIL era, or really even, we're moving beyond that because now programs are going to be able to revenue share directly with the athletes. The money and what you're signing for becomes the paramount reason for signing to the school, unfortunately, and we've talked about this for years and years, and we even asked Shane Beamer about this. And it's not to say that you still can't be great at recruiting or bad at recruiting. It's not to say that you can't still form great connections with student athletes and convince them to come to your university. But at some point, it's kind of like the NFL, where you have a certain number that you can pay a kid, and that is the reason that they're signing with you. So that part's not new. The August 1st opening that Auburn's AD was talking about, I want to ask you about the calendar here, because he's saying no official commitments can come until August 1st, or the contracts can't be signed on paper until August 1st. That's when fall camp starts. And that's not just for colleges, that's when the high school fall camp starts. I committed to Michigan way before my senior year got underway so that it would be out of the way and behind me and we could focus on that high school, that season that we had coming up. What do you make of the August 1st signing date? And it seems like people are saying that they're spending money they don't have. I don't understand that. Are they thinking that they're lying about their offers?
Well, that's the gist of what I got from it, that they're offering something that they really don't have to get these commitments right now. And then somehow on August 1st, it's going to rear his head and Auburn's playing the nice guy the whole time and they're going to come crawling back to Auburn. Blaine, there's two things. One, I think it is borderline delusional that Auburn is right and everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is wrong who's doing well in recruiting. And the second thing is, at the end of the day, and we're going to get to the on-the-field stuff, it sounds like an excuse. That's what it sounds like.
And you can't, let me go and say that you can't offer a kid money and then when August 1 comes around, it's something completely different.
Summer's firing up and so is your grill. But here's something that'll make you think twice about that next barbecue run. Did you know that over 85% of grass-fed beef in stores is actually imported? We just had July 4th. That's not acceptable. So while you're planning the perfect tailgate or backyard cookout, that premium steak may have traveled more miles than your favorite team this season. And that's exactly why we switched, and you need to switch to GoodRanchers.com for all your summer grilling. Picture this, you're hosting the big game watch party, firing up the burgers by the pool, and you want to be serving the best all-American cuts for your guests. Well, Good Ranchers delivers exactly that. Every single cut of beef, chicken, and pork, it's 100% American-born, raised, and harvested by local family farms, no antibiotics ever, no added hormones, no seed oils, just pure, clean meat that'll make your grill the MVP of every cookout. Plus, they deliver straight to your door. Game day prep got a whole lot easier. I got a butcher's box coming here in a couple days. I know we're going to be grilling up a bunch here in the next couple weeks.
Mine got there last weekend. Thank you all, Good Ranchers, for allowing us to have a great 4th of July.
For sure. And here's the deal. If you subscribe to any Good Ranchers box today, you'll get your pick of free meat for life. Now, that's a life sentence I would love to sign up for, and I already am. I'm talking free Wagyu burgers, hot dogs, bacon, or chicken wings in every single box. And when you use our code BOOSTER, this is very important. When you go to GoodRanchers.com and you use our code BOOSTER, you'll save an additional $40. So hit up GoodRanchers.com, use code BOOSTER for $40 off, plus free meat for life. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered.
You can't do that, correct?
So that is even a verbal contract. You
cannot do that. You cannot do that. So there's no way, in my opinion, this is just an excuse for Hugh Freeze. There's no way teams are just throwing around money, and when it comes to that time in August 1st to sign that piece of paper, that money's going to disappear. I mean, we've seen that players will retaliate against that school.
Well, you say that, but then our buddy at On3, Pete Nakos, put out a tweet saying there's more fake cash right here. There is more fake cash being thrown around right now than there was 4 years ago.
I'd like to get Pete on and know what fake cash means.
So to me, that could only mean that there are numerical values of money being offered to players that schools cannot pay. And you said, obviously you have lawyers in your family that understand how this stuff works, that a verbal contract is binding if you can prove it. But then I wonder, if you're a team that is offering money that you can't pay, is the kid really going to sue Alabama or sue Georgia? Because to me, as much as money talks and bullshit walks, because it does, I think we can all agree with that, I feel like Georgia and Alabama, these other teams can fall back on, well, you can come in and win a national championship. Like, this all comes down to playing well on the field.
But does it, though? Because, like,
I think
if
some
that
of it
were
does.
the case, then we wouldn't see high school players saying, well, how much are you going to pay me? Right? And you wouldn't see them go anywhere but the best schools. I mean, like, if you can go to Alabama and get the highest
Well, it's a
NIL
combo,
valuation,
yes.
then yes, right?
For sure.
But if you have someone who says, no, I just want to go where I can make the absolute most money, then that's why you're seeing more parity across.
He saw a 5-star Simon Syracuse.
And they took him from Michigan.
And look, I'm not going to sit here and argue that money's not the most important thing for people, and that's not just
not for everyone.
NIL. But it's not for everyone. What I'm wondering is, if the difference is, let's say, $75,000. You would get $75,000, and this is going to get me to my next point. $75,000 at Auburn more than you would at, let's just say, Georgia. To me, the best business decision right now is still to go to Georgia.
But
like,
then
if
nothing has changed, though, is my point. Like, how's that any different than it was 8 years ago?
See,
you're more likely to win a national championship in Alabama 8 years ago.
And you're right. Obviously, you want both. You want the prestige of winning and the most money, and only certain schools can do that. But where I think Auburn is struggling the most right now is that you have, and this goes to the positive side, believe it or not. If you win on the field, a lot of this gets figured out. If Auburn goes and shows it on the field in year 3, then I think a lot of this gets solved. You will get more money from boosters because you've shown proof of concept. The problem is you have not shown proof of concept. You've promised and said this is going to be better and this is going to be greater, and you've got everything else. You've got the facilities. You've got the fan support, all this, but you haven't shown it on the field. And at the end of the day, it's like saying, oh, well, you're going to love this new house I'm building you. And you tell me, give me a year and it's going to be done. It's going to be beautiful. And then I go in the neighborhood and we're in year 3 and you ain't even put the walls up yet.
Yeah.
So until Auburn wins on the field, they are going to eventually struggle in recruiting. Now, they haven't the previous 2 times, and people say 2 years, and they say, well, it's because you front-loaded, right? You spent more money than, you spent it early, said, I'm going to push all my chips into year 3, and you went on the field. Okay, that was a smart decision. We can move forward. But if you don't, I don't think there is this, oh, well, Auburn's going to sign another top 10 class regardless, because after 3 years, and I think we all agree 3 years and 3 cycles, even in today's era in society in college football and college athletics, is enough to be able to get your culture in, get the personnel in, and start to go win. But it's stopped becoming cool right now to play at Auburn. And they're catching it from all angles. I mean, we're catching strays from Golf Digest, man.
So Golf Digest, the Auburn football program, is having recruiting issues that some are blaming on its coach for playing too much golf. Then on the heels of that, Lane Kiffin posts and says your game is on fire when Hugh Freeze is holding a golf trophy.
The knock has been, oh, Hugh Freeze is playing way too much golf. Which, look, at the end of the day, this is troll food. All right, you think Hugh Freeze is really saying, oh, well, we got a 5-star coming this weekend, but I got to scramble with my buddies I got to play in, so I'm not going to talk to him. No, when it's going bad, stuff like this pops up. If it goes good on the field this year, fans will be sending him putters and 9-irons and golf bags and all type of stuff.
Why are we catching strays from Golf Digest? From Golf Digest? Why are y'all worried about us?
It's a layup.
Y'all are breaking this news? Who's behind this account?
Yeah. But look,
Alabama.
It has to be somebody associated with the program of Alabama.
But again, the silver lining is that if you have success on the field this year, then the question becomes, what level of success does it need to be? Does it need to be 8 and you have to beat one of Alabama and Georgia? Does it have to be 9 and you have to beat one of Alabama and Georgia? Does it have to be bigger than that? I think it's 9. I think if you get to 8 and you do beat one of Alabama and Georgia, you can get away with it. But I think 9 is the number that would really put some people at ease, and the strays would stop and Auburn would look like they're figuring it out. But until you went on the field, right? Until you show it on the field, this is going to keep happening and it's going to get worse. And that Baylor game, week 1 now, is even bigger. It was already huge. It was already massive. Now it's Godzilla size. Now it's King Kong size. Now it's Jupiter size. You've got to go win that game, or you think it's bad now? You think recruiting's bad now? It's only going to get worse. But this was the plan.
Yeah,
this was the plan. By year 3, you better show me something on the field. And
we brought up, Georgia and Alabama when it comes to recruiting. Like, I don't even know, we're not even in the same realm, in the same solar system right now. I mean, Auburn at this point is getting out-recruited by Idaho and Texas State.
Losing someone close to you changes everything, and it's impossible not to think about what the future holds. The truth is, most of us worry about whether our families would be okay financially, God forbid, if something happens to us. The last thing any of us want is for our loved ones to struggle with bills and expenses during an already difficult time. We just went through this with my mother-in-law, and thank goodness she had life insurance. And you need to get it from our friends over at Ethos. Now, they come in giving you a peace of mind that your family will be protected no matter what. Ethos makes getting life insurance surprisingly simple and affordable. Their completely online platform eliminates the hassle of traditional insurance. No medical exams, no lengthy appointments, just a few quick health questions, and you can get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. Now, what makes it even better is you can often get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house, which means your family could be protected by the end of today. You might be surprised to learn that quality coverage can cost as little as $2 a day. And with Ethos, you can customize your policy to fit your budget while still getting up to $3 million in protection. The company's earned some serious recognition too. Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider as of March 2025. And they boast an impressive 4.8 star rating on Trustpilot. It goes to show why they've become the go-to choice for people who want reliable coverage without the runaround. So protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/booster. That's ethos.com/booster. We know you're listening. If you don't have life insurance, go to ethos.com/booster and get peace of mind from a very, very quality company as well.
Well, Alabama's number 5 right now in the country with 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 stars committed right now with the Jair Edwards safety had committed this.
Hooking. And this is the last thing Auburn and Hugh, you get hit with the golf stuff. Your recruiting going this bad, and Kalen DeBoer has magically figured it out in Tuscaloosa. It's just Auburn hasn't got a win lately, and they need one back.
But I still don't understand the fake money term, because as we sit here right now, it's July 7th, which means technically from the NCAA versus the House settlement, programs should have more money than they've ever had to be able to revenue share directly with the athletes and should have more dollars at their disposal. Now, again, with the timeline of the August 1st, again, that seems really weird to me because teams are entering fall camp. You got to focus on getting the season started, not recruiting at that point. This is when you need to be recruiting. But to your point, the one thing that we had talked about with Hugh Freeze doing really well in the first couple seasons, even though not having much success on the field, was his recruiting. It's like, wow, he's finally recruiting in a way.
Top 10 classes.
Top 10 classes that they need to have. The 2026 class is not going to impact Auburn on the football field this year. No. And he has recruited well. So if he can go out and do what you're saying, which is win football games, the tide, pun intended, the tide will turn.
It's what it was all going to come down to anyway. I don't care if Auburn had the number 4 class in the country right now and had all these 5 stars. If they go out and go 5 and 7, they're not going to sign these guys. Because again, and then people will say in the comments, I'm sure, well, look at what they did last year and the year before that. Eventually it hits a wall. It's the reverse at Alabama right now, because it would take multiple years of Kalen DeBoer and Alabama struggling for you to see an impact in recruiting.
Yeah.
But to all those who said that, oh, well, Kalen DeBoer is just Husky Harsin. He can't recruit. He's going to go to Bama, and it's going to be a disaster, and he's not going to be able to get the same type players. Well, he's getting them right now. Now, the ship, I don't think, is accelerating past Nick Saban. That's nuts to say. But he's shown he can steer it. Do I think Kalen DeBoer is the greatest head coach recruiter in the history of all time or in college football right now? No. But he's shown the ability, when he has the resources at a place like Alabama, when you have the cachet and the prestige, right, and the recruiting ground and the fertility of that program to get super, super, super hot, he can manage it. So if Alabama goes 9-3 this year and doesn't make the playoff, they'll still be fine in recruiting. They could go 9-3 the next 3 years and not make the playoff. But once you get into year 4 and year 5, and Alabama, if they haven't made the playoff, then you may see a little bit of a knock on it. But if they go out and do well this year and make the playoff and they kind of look like old Alabama, maybe in a little bit of a different way, then they're going to keep staying this hot. So Alabama and Auburn have the totally different, a parallel type of situation, but it's in the opposite, right? It's going to take a while for Alabama to fall off that pedestal, which they may not ever. And Kalen DeBoer is a damn good coach, right? He's not Nick Saban. Nobody's asked him to be Nick Saban. But right now, Cone, you look at it, all those 5 stars, the momentum that Alabama has right now, they go put a good product out on the field, which we think they're going to this year. It's going to continue to stay as hot as it was, which is even worse for for Hugh Freeze and Auburn, but Kalen DeBoer can do it. I don't want to hear anything else about Kalen DeBoer not being able to recruit at Alabama or all this other stuff, because right now he's slamming old buddy in the locker in the middle of everybody in the high school.
I find it funny that Lane Kiffin is trolling Hugh Freeze when it was Hugh Freeze who beat Alabama multiple times while at Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin hasn't done that. But did you want to make a point about Nick Saban recruiting for Alabama?
Yeah, you did. You started to
put out.
Well, look, the one thing I love to do is rage bait Alabama fans. It's one of my top 5 things to do in life. So I put out a tweet that says Nick Saban is just recruiting really well right now, because he put out a picture like a week before of him in the facilities, talking to guys, maybe with a recruit. And I just rage baited Alabama fans. It was fantastic. I think Kalen DeBoer is doing a great job, but it's smart for Alabama to keep Nick around. And
why would you not?
And I'm sure Nick wants to be around. So, obviously, I think Kalen DeBoer is keeping the standard. It's not surprising to me when I see Alabama sign a bunch of 5 stars. Trust me, I see it in my nightmares every time I go to bed. But Kalen DeBoer, if he can keep that bar somewhat close to where Nick Saban was, it's going to be great. But, God, the comments I got, fellas, not only the comments, but the DMs I got from some Alabama fans really warms my heart. Really warms my heart.
To me, if Warren Buffett retired and said, Jake, I want you to take over my portfolio, and he's like, but I'll help you still, I would take Warren Buffett's help.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's a resource nobody else has. Nobody else has. Kalen DeBoer has Nick Saban. Your job as a head coach is to put your program in the best situation possible. And when you have the greatest of all time in Nick Saban saying, hey, I'm not there anymore, right? I retired, but let me help you. You would be an idiot not to take it. And Kalen DeBoer, how much of an impact that's had on what's going on, I'm not going to give you a percentage.
Kalen DeBoer deserves all the credit.
Kalen DeBoer deserves all the credit for what he's doing at Bama.
I came across this on a fan forum. This is an Auburn fan here, and I just want to know: one, is this a burner account?
We're on board.
And is this panic mode that's just gone?
Can I just say this really quickly?
Yes.
Auburn fans don't have to get into panic mode. Being an Auburn fan is never-ending panic.
That's the default setting.
Yeah,
so let me read this.
That's what we say.
And you guys give me your thoughts as Auburn fans. Alabama surging in recruiting while Auburn takes a back seat to even bad G5 programs in recruiting. There isn't a fix for this. Our program is going to suck for decades while theirs is going from the best dynasty ever to the next coach without skipping a beat. I better not hear one effing Auburn fan say things are fine. They aren't. Bama is going to keep expletive out 5 stars while we do nothing but lose nearly every meaningful game and some of the non-meaningful ones and have to collect G5 leftovers in recruits for 2025. This is the state of both programs. If you think one optimistic thought about Auburn football or a pessimistic thought about Alabama, you're dead wrong. Good things don't happen to us and bad things don't happen to them.
Well, that's the doomsday prep.
Is this just the Auburn doomsday?
Steve, you found my burner.
Yeah, no, look, things right now at Auburn aren't fine, right? This reminds me of the Leslie Nielsen "Nobody Panic," while there's fires going on.
It's the old school moment with Will Ferrell with the chair in the locker room, screaming with his shirt off in his underwear. Nobody panic while he panics.
It's not fine right now, but there is still time. And on the field is, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier, regardless of any of this, what happens on the field this year is going to sink or swim Hugh Freeze in the summer. And everybody knows that. Hugh Freeze knows that. And to say the staff's not working hard in recruiting, that is just, again, when it's going bad, people find ways to explain it outside of just the fact that Auburn either doesn't have a great grip on what's going on right now, or they spent a lot of their money early, right? And when they're offering these amounts to these players, even the committed ones, they're not near what programs who are doing better than them on the field recently are doing, and you're not going to keep those recruits. So, just like we've been saying, either it's going to go good on the field this year or Hugh Freeze is in a lot of trouble. And we'll see. This is why it's the most concerning thing to me is just some of the decision-making, and Blaine said this a million times, and it's not just one person, right? I don't just want to bash one person. The fact that you kept Peyton Thorne for another year, I know it's your decision overall as the head coach. Who is in your ear, though, telling you these are good ideas? That's the part that worries me, is that you made that decision to do that again, knowing deep down you had to know who you had. That's what worries me with some of these personnel decisions. Hey, big thanks to our friends over at Bearskin for sponsoring today's show. Now, they sent us their Heavy Storm rain jacket and hoodie combo. And after testing it out in the rain earlier in Ireland, look at the picture, boys. The rain and the wind, it was absolutely stout. This is the best 3-in-1 rain jacket that we have ever owned. It actually folds into its own stash pocket as well. It takes up almost no space in your backpack or pocket, and it's a total game changer in heavy or light rain, a true dual threat player. The thing is fully waterproof. That's because it's got fully taped seams, silicone sealed zips, and adjustable cuffs, and the hood is designed to not allow any water near your face, and it doesn't. And it's not just any old jacket. It's also got 5 waterproof pockets, so all your gear stays dry, whether you're hiking, fishing, biking, or getting caught in a storm at your favorite tailgate. This is one crucial rain jacket that you need, and here's the best part. It actually zips into the bearskin hoodie. It's like a transformer, turning it into a 3-in-1 all-weather system. So your fleece stays warm and dry underneath, and you stay comfortable and dry on the outside. Like I said, I've used it in some of the worst rain elements that there are, buddies.
Yeah.
It was raining sideways, big drops, and crazy wind.
Did you go to Ireland just to test the bearskin?
I did.
Wow.
All on my own
Big
dime,
move.
too. Next trip, y'all can send me, though. So when you order your bearskin rain jacket, you'll get fast delivery and free shipping from within the U.S. To get yours for 60% off, just text Crain to 36912. Even if you're busy, text CRAIN to 36912, and they'll send you a link so you can lock in for your discount later. So if you go outdoors, rain or shine, text Crain to 36912 and get 60% off the best rain jacket on the market, and it's not even close.
Holy art thou Auburn doesn't win games. I mean, if we're saying, well, teams are illegal, telling kids are going to pay them, it's like maybe we need to get our feet wet a little bit. Mix in the mud. Cam Newton didn't come to Auburn for free.
No,
This is a different era, though. Like,
True.
how does cheating help you now? I don't
True.
understand.
I mean, I don't even think cheating's a real thing now. I really don't. I mean, tampering goes on all the time. They let it happen.
If everybody's
schools
doing
are
it, is it
doing that,
cheating?
I mean, I'm not saying promises are getting made by any team or any coaches, but if you know of nefarious things, we don't have to get as nefarious, but let's just not be the goody-goody kid on the playground.
It's just like, it's like in dating. Right now, Auburn feels like the nice guy that brings the girl chocolate and flowers and writes her poems and takes her to fancy restaurants and says, I want to take it slow, right? I don't want to go too fast. And then you figure out that she's really been hooking up with the guy who rides a Harley that just joined Hell's Angels that dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
So this whole nice guy,
Well, then that's the wrong girl.
you know,
Yeah,
She'll be back.
yeah,
She'll be
that's
back.
right. You're right. The right
Yeah.
girl's the 3-star
Yeah.
from
She'll
that
get-
beat
yeah.
out Idaho on.
Yeah, because he's going to develop good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or she will.
Oh, man.
But I think that I'll say it again. People who are going to take this like current state of Auburn recruiting into this 2025 season, I would caution them against that.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to play into Auburn football in 2025.
True.
And actually, this may just be the chip on the shoulder that locker room needs.
It may be. And
I'm going
to
to find out who runs that Golf Digest account. I'm
Who
going
do
to
that?
make
Who
that.
cares?
That is it's just like, you want to talk about coming from left field. We're getting hit by Golf Digest?
To
Our
me,
head coach is getting knocked by Golf Digest?
Here's the way social media works. Here's because you never know really what's going to happen on the field. If Auburn starts playing well, like and beats Baylor, the amount of memes about Hugh Freeze with a golf club, like trolling other fan bases if Auburn does well, it'll totally reverse on its head. That's what I'm saying. People will send in golf clubs. And hell, they may get it.
Can't be at that game though because he has a scramble. Now.
Yeah, here we go. See, it's fodder, and I get it. The Lane Kiffin. So, just quickly before we wrap, like, if Lane Kiffin had and look, I think what Lane does is hilarious. I love me some Lane Kiffin. I think his shtick with Feinbaum's when.
Okay, just say the bad thing you're going to say about it.
It's that, but he hasn't won anything. Like I've never
saying
seen
it.
somebody troll so much who hasn't won anything.
National
I really
champion,
think that Lane Kiffin
offensive
got
coordinator.
trolled so bad early in his career that he's like, it makes him feel good to do it now with like what happened at Tennessee and then with USC and with the Raiders and all this. It's just like you're like the bully on the playground that talks a lot of trash, but the minute somebody tries to fight you, you run away. Like it just now if somebody who if Ryan Day was doing it, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right, I mean, you won a natty. Like, if Jim Harbaugh was doing it, I'd be like, okay, you won a natty, or Nick Saban or somebody, but like Lane Kiffin, you ain't even played for an SEC championship at Ole Miss. It's just, it's tough to me to.
SEC media days are next week. I think Lane Kiffin does a great job.
Yeah.
I think he does a great job.
No,
all the
Lane
time.
is perfect for Ole Miss. He's a really good coach. It's just, I don't know if that's the guy that like should be talking trash about other coaches when like you don't have a ring.
I don't think he's talking. I'm sure there's a relationship there, and they're laughing at each other behind all this.
I don't know.
behind all this, unless y'all think there's actual beef.
I think
I mean, if there's actual beef.
Hugh was at
between
Ole Miss.
and Lane.
Had the glow up there before it blew up. And
you know how I know how we can fix it.
Get them both on at once.
One-on-one scramble. No, one-on-one head-to-head golf.
Head-to-head? See, now.
We'll broadcast it.
Golf Digest would probably want to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll reach out.
Now you're really
tweet about that.
Again, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we do go, I want to say, what happened out at Camp Mystic and in Texas with the flood is just, I can't even wrap my mind around, the tragedy that's involved there. And our condolences obviously go out to all the families and prayers for the victims. And it's just, it's absolutely heartbreaking. So make sure if you get a chance tonight, say a prayer for those families and everybody that's involved. We appreciate you watching again. We'll catch you next time. Okay, go.